You people always try to sneak into places you don't belong. These words echoed through the corporate lobby as a well-dressed black woman was told to wait outside like an unwanted visitor. But what happened exactly 1 minute later would send shockwaves through the entire company and change hundreds of lives forever. How could a simple visit turn into the most dramatic corporate takedown in history? What was this mysterious woman hiding that would make an entire management team regret their actions within moments? The answer will leave you speechless. Dear viewer, if you are watching my story for the first time, I humbly request you write the location from where you are watching right now, subscribe this channel and press the bell icon now not to miss the notifications of my daily published new stories. Thank you, and let's dive into the full story. The morning sun cast long shadows across the glass towers of downtown Chicago as Jasmine Carter stepped out of her modest rental car. At 39, she had built Nexus Industries from a small startup into a Fortune 500 tech giant, but you'd never know it from her appearance today. Dressed in simple slacks and a basic blazer from a department store, she looked like any other job applicant. "Morning, ma'am," Marcus Thompson, the security guard, greeted her warmly. His weathered face showed the lines of someone who'd seen too much but still chose kindness. "Haven't seen you around before. First time at Nexus Chicago?" Jasmine returned his smile, noting his perfectly pressed uniform. "Yes, I have an appointment with management. I'm here to discuss some organizational improvements." Marcus's expression shifted slightly. "Ah, well, good luck with that." He lowered his voice, glancing around. "Between you and me, improvements aren't exactly welcome here. Management likes things just the way they are." "Oh." Jasmine pulled out her phone, pretending to check messages while actually opening her notes app. "What makes you say that?" The security guard hesitated, then seemed to decide she was trustworthy. "Been here 15 years, seen a lot of good people come and go. The talented ones, especially if they look like you and me, they don't last long in the upper floors. Always some excuse why they're not the right fit for promotion." Jasmine nodded thoughtfully. "That must be frustrating to watch." "Frustrating doesn't begin to cover it," Marcus admitted. "Just last month, Angela, she's one of our janitors, applied for an entry-level analyst position. Woman has an MBA from Northwestern, but they told her she lacked relevant experience. Meanwhile, they hired some kid fresh out of community college because he golfed with Tom Bradley's son." The automatic doors swooshed open. Linda Washington hurried in, coffee in hand, her heels clicking against marble. The young black woman's eyes widened seeing someone already waiting. "Oh. Are you here for an interview?" Linda asked, moving behind the reception desk. "I'm sorry I'm late. The train was delayed." "No need to apologize," Jasmine assured her. "I'm a bit early. I have a meeting with Patricia Whitmore." Linda's fingers froze over her keyboard. She looked up with concern. "I see the appointment, but, are you sure it's with Ms. Whitmore directly? She usually has Sarah from HR handle initial meetings with visitors." The pause before visitors wasn't lost on Jasmine. "Yes, I'm certain. It's regarding organizational assessments." "Right." Linda bit her lip. "Can I give you some advice? Ms. Whitmore is very particular about presentation. First impressions matter a lot to her." Before Jasmine could respond, the elevator dinged. Patricia Whitmore emerged like a force of nature. At 47, she embodied corporate power, designer suit, perfectly coiffed blonde hair, and an expression that could freeze water. "Linda," Patricia's voice cut through the air. "Why is this person in my lobby?" Linda straightened nervously. "This is your 9 o'clock appointment, Ms. Whitmore." Patricia's lips pursed as she gave Jasmine a slow once-over, contempt barely concealed. "There must be some mistake. I was expecting a professional consultant, not, whatever this is." Jasmine stood calmly, extending her hand. "I'm here for our scheduled meeting. Perhaps we could discuss." Patricia ignored the hand. "I don't think so. You people always try to sneak into places you don't belong. Marcus, why did you let her past without calling up first? Ma'am, she said she had an appointment. The protocol is to keep unauthorized individuals out. Patricia's voice rose. Look at her. Does she look like someone who belongs in executive meetings? Jasmine remained silent, documenting every word on her phone. Patricia turned back with a cold smile. I don't know what you're really here for, but you can wait outside. If someone determines you're legitimate, which I doubt, they'll come get you. Outside? Jasmine repeated calmly. You want me to wait outside the building? Did I stutter? This lobby is for employees and legitimate partners only. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Ms. Whitmore, it's 30 degrees. Are you questioning me? Perhaps you'd like to join her. The threat hung heavy. Marcus remained silent, 15 years of employment flashing across his face. Jasmine touched his arm gently. It's all right. I'll wait outside. As she walked toward the door, Patricia called out, Linda. Next time someone like that shows up, use common sense. Does she really look like someone I'd meet with? The doors closed behind Jasmine. Through the glass, she could see Patricia gesturing animatedly. Marcus caught her eye and mouthed, I'm sorry. Jasmine smiled, opening her executive team chat, Phase 1 complete. The Chicago branch is worse than reported. Proceeding with full investigation. The response from Robert Sterling, her CFO, was immediate, standing by. Legal team is prepared for whatever you need. As the cold Chicago wind whipped around her, Jasmine Carter, CEO of Nexus Industries, settled in to wait outside her own building. The security cameras would capture everything, a well-dressed black woman standing in the cold while employees streamed past her into the warm lobby. She opened her recording app and spoke quietly. Initial observations confirmed systematic discrimination. Regional Manager Patricia Whitmore demonstrated explicit bias within minutes of contact. Security guard Marcus Thompson and receptionist Linda Washington both showed signs of operating under threatening conditions. Proceeding to Phase 2. Her phone buzzed with another message, all recording devices active. Document everything. Jasmine smiled grimly. In less than 24 hours, Patricia Whitmore would learn exactly who she had told to wait outside. The cold Chicago wind cut through Jasmine's blazer as she stood outside the Nexus building. Through the windows, she could see Patricia Whitmore holding court in the lobby, her animated gestures suggesting she was far from finished. Within minutes, Patricia emerged flanked by Sarah Mitchell, the HR director, and Tom Bradley, the sales director. Both wore expressions of smug anticipation. Still here? Patricia's voice dripped with false surprise. I thought you would have gotten the message by now. She turned to her companions. This is what I was telling you about. They show up with fake appointments, hoping to guilt their way into meetings. Sarah clutched her tablet. Should I call the police? We have policies about loitering. I'm hardly loitering, Jasmine said calmly. I'm waiting as instructed. Tom laughed harshly. Waiting for what? Divine intervention. Honey, you're not getting in dressed like that. This isn't the unemployment office. Tom, Patricia said with feigned reproach, though smiling. We must be professional. What exactly did you think would happen today? That you'd walk in and demand to meet senior management? I had a confirmed appointment, Jasmine replied, documenting on her phone. Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding is yours, Sarah interjected. Nexus maintains certain standards. We're a Fortune 500 company, not a community outreach program. Patricia stepped closer, invading Jasmine's space. Let me be clear. You don't belong here. Not in this building, not in these meetings, and certainly not wasting the time of people who actually contribute. Through the glass, Jasmine saw employees gathering. Angela Davis watched from inside with recognition and sympathy. Could we discuss this inside? Jasmine suggested. The cold weather, Tom snorted. She wants to come inside. Next, she'll ask for a corner office. The entitlement is astounding, Sarah agreed, making exaggerated notes. I'm documenting this for security protocols. Patricia's eyes gleamed. You're right. This is a learning opportunity. She raised her voice for the crowd inside. Everyone should see what happens when someone tries to manipulate their way into spaces they haven't earned. Look at this, desperation. Patricia, David Chen called from inside, pushing through the crowd. What's going on? This seems unnecessary. Patricia whirled. Unnecessary? This is about maintaining integrity. Would you let anyone into your server room? That's different, David began. Is it? Tom's voice carried threat. Maybe you're too new to understand how things work here, Chen. We have standards. Since you need everything spelled out, Patricia continued loudly, you are not welcome here. You will never be welcome. Whatever sob story you've prepared, it won't work. People like me. Jasmine repeated quietly. Patricia smiled predatorily. Don't play dumb. People who think diversity quotas mean they don't have to meet standards. People who use their background as an excuse for mediocrity. The lobby had gone silent. Employees were recording now despite security's attempts. Sarah tried redirecting. What Patricia means is Nexus values excellence. We can't lower standards to appear inclusive. Exactly, Tom agreed. It's not personal. It's about quality our clients expect. Jasmine continued typing calmly. And these expectations exclude people who look like me? Now you're twisting our words, Patricia snapped. This isn't about appearance. It's about professionalism. You couldn't even dress appropriately. Through the crowd, Jasmine spotted Marcus, his face a mask of controlled anger. Angela had stopped pretending to clean. You know what's saddest? Patricia continued. You probably believed you belonged here. Someone filled your head with nonsense about breaking barriers. She stepped back theatrically. But the real world has standards. Hierarchies. People who belong in boardrooms, and people who belong outside. Like right now, Tom added. You're literally outside because you don't belong inside. Sarah typed furiously. I'm updating security protocols. We need better ways to intercept these situations. Patricia turned back one final time. Are we clear? You don't belong here. The wind picked up. Jasmine stood unmoved. I understand perfectly. You've made your position clear. Good, Patricia said, though something in Jasmine's tone unsettled her. Then we're done. As they turned to leave, Jasmine spoke again. Just one question. What would you do if you discovered someone you dismissed so thoroughly actually had the power to change everything? Patricia paused, looking back with contempt. That's the difference between fantasy and reality. People with real power don't stand outside begging. With that, she swept inside. Through the glass, Jasmine could see her addressing the crowd. She looked at her phone, messages from her legal team flooded in. We have everything we need. This is beyond actionable. Standing by for your signal. She typed, not yet. Let them dig deeper. As she settled back to wait, Jasmine noticed Angela slipping out a side door, heading her way with determined steps. The game was far from over. The cold bit deeper as Jasmine stood outside, but she barely noticed. Her mind processed everything she'd witnessed. Through the glass, she could see Patricia still holding court. A side door opened quietly. Angela Davis emerged, pushing a cleaning cart as cover. The woman moved with purpose, her eyes scanning before settling on Jasmine. You need to be careful, Angela said without preamble. Patricia's probably calling corporate, spinning stories about a security threat. Jasmine studied her. You're Angela. Marcus mentioned you. MBA from Northwestern. Angela's eyes widened. He told you about that? She shook her head. Marcus takes risks talking to strangers. Yet here you are, Jasmine observed. Angela laughed bitterly. What are they going to do, demote me? I'm already cleaning toilets with a graduate degree. Rock bottom has advantages. She pretended to spray cleaner on a planter. I saw what Patricia did. It's not the first time. But something about you. You're not what you seem, are you? What makes you say that? Because you're too calm, Angela said simply. Most people fight back or break down. You stood there taking notes like documenting an experiment. Jasmine smiled slightly. Maybe I was. Angela's eyes sharpened. I've been here 3 years. Applied for an analyst position, entry level. They told me I was overqualified. Overqualified with an MBA? That's what I said. So I applied higher. Then they said I lacked experience. Angela's hands tightened on her mop. Finally, I needed income. They were hiring janitors. Suddenly, I was qualified. She gestured toward the building. I'm not alone. Linda at reception. Business degree, summa cum laude. For years, temporarily, there while less qualified people get promoted. And Marcus? 15 years perfect service. Applied for management 6 times. They hire external candidates who better fit the leadership profile. Angela's voice dripped sarcasm. Employees exited, giving curious looks. Angela emptied a trash bin, waiting. There's maybe a dozen of us, she continued quietly. Black employees stuck in service roles despite qualifications. They keep us to pad diversity numbers. Have you documented this? Jasmine asked. Angela gave her a sharp look. You're definitely not typical. Yeah, we've documented. I've got emails saying I wouldn't be a cultural fit. Linda has records. Marcus has every rejection. And nothing's been done. To who? HR is Sarah Mitchell, Patricia's best friend. They golf together. Angela's expression hardened. 2 years ago, Jerome filed a complaint. 2 weeks later, fired for performance issues. The wind picked up. Look, I don't know who you are, but be careful. Patricia's connected. The entire management structure protects each other. Tell me about them, Jasmine encouraged. Tom Bradley has a point system for interviews. Cultural fit, categories that are code for discrimination. James Rodriguez in facilities. Their token minority. Goes along to keep his spot. Marcus emerged, expression concerned. Angela, what are you doing? Patricia's on a warpath. She's calling a meeting about security breaches. Just doing my job, Angela replied evenly. Marcus turned to Jasmine. Ma'am, you should go. Patricia's talking about pressing charges. Her brother-in-law is a police captain. Let her, Jasmine said calmly. I'm on a public sidewalk. Through the glass, employees gathered in the lobby. Patricia stood center, clearly giving a speech. They're making everyone watch, Angela said disgustedly. Another power play. What's she teaching? Jasmine asked. Know your place, Angela replied bitterly. Stay in your lane. Same lesson they've been teaching us inside for years. A delivery man approached, then noticed them and changed direction to a side entrance. It's like the 1950s never ended, Angela muttered. Jasmine's phone buzzed. Robert Sterling, local news picked up social media posts. Should we intervene? She typed, not yet. Still gathering intelligence. Angela noticed. You're really not leaving, are you? Would you? Jasmine asked. If you could change things. Angela was quiet. I used to think about whistleblowing. But who believes a janitor over a regional manager? But if someone with power knew, Angela said, studying Jasmine, someone who could actually do something. Before Jasmine could respond, Linda rushed out, flushed with worry. You need to leave. Patricia's called police, said there's a hostile individual. They'll be here any minute. I've been standing calmly, Jasmine pointed out. Doesn't matter, Linda said desperately. She's got managers backing her story. Marcus's radio crackled. All security to lobby. He looked apologetically at Jasmine. I have to go. But please, for safety, leave. Actually, Jasmine said softly, I'm beginning to understand exactly what they're capable of. She looked at each of them. What's happening hasn't gone unnoticed. Things will change. Angela laughed bitterly. We've heard that before. This time is different, Jasmine assured her. Why? Linda asked. Sirens became audible. The others tensed, but Jasmine remained calm. Because Patricia Whitmore just made the biggest mistake of her career. She's about to learn that sometimes the person you dismiss is exactly who holds your future. Go back inside, Jasmine instructed. Do your jobs, trust me. By tomorrow, everything changes. As they reluctantly returned, Jasmine sent a message, police en route. Have counsel ready. Time to accelerate. The police sirens were getting closer when Linda suddenly grabbed Jasmine's arm. This way, quickly. She pulled Jasmine toward a service entrance hidden by a delivery truck. What are you doing? Jasmine asked, though she followed. I can't watch this anymore, Linda said fiercely, swiping her access card. If they fire me, fine. They slipped inside as the first police car rounded the corner. Linda moved quickly through back hallways. Patricia will have my head, Linda muttered. For years perfect attendance, and I'm throwing it away. Why? Jasmine asked quietly. Linda stopped. Because last month my cousin interviewed here. Top of her class at University of Chicago. Patricia took one look at her natural hair and said she wasn't polished enough. They heard footsteps and ducked into a closet. Tom Bradley's voice, check every floor. She might have snuck in. After he passed, Linda led them up a stairwell. We're going to IT. David Chen might actually help. They emerged on the 5th floor. The atmosphere was different, more diverse. David Chen was in his cluttered office. He looked up as Linda knocked, expression shifting to alarm. Linda, what? He stood abruptly. Is this the woman from downstairs? Patricia's claiming terrorist threats. She did no such thing, Linda said firmly. David, we need help. Something seriously wrong here. David closed his door. Linda, I can't get involved. I've got kids, and how long before Patricia decides you're not a cultural fit either? Linda challenged. David slumped back. Of course I know it's wrong. But knowing and doing are different. He looked at Jasmine. Who are you really? Jasmine made a calculated decision. I'm someone who can change things, but I need evidence. Evidence, David laughed bitterly. You want evidence? He turned to his computer, typing rapidly. Screw it. I'm tired of complicit silence. He opened a folder revealing dozens of documented incidents. Started keeping records 3rd week here. Look, MIT graduate resume. Patricia's feedback. Potential communication issues. The man spoke perfect English. Linda leaned over. I remember him. Waited 3 hours because Patricia forgot his interview. Angela appeared in the doorway. Heard we were having a rebellion. Count me in. She held up a flash drive. 3 years documentation. You recorded meetings? David asked. Illinois is two-party consent, Angela said. Every recording was in public areas. Completely legal. She plugged in the drive. Patricia's recorded voice filled the room. I don't care if she has 2 degrees. Can you imagine her in front of the board? David pulled up more files. Hiring data last 5 years. Out of 847 employees, 0 black employees in management. I process applications, Linda added. I've seen Patricia throw resumes away based on names. Marcus's voice crackled over Linda's radio. Linda, where are you? Patricia's going nuclear. Linda looked at the others. We're past the point of no return. We passed that years ago, Angela said. David pulled up salary distributions. Black employees in same roles make average 23% less. Footsteps thundered outside. Sarah Mitchell was leading security, checking offices. They're sweeping, David said urgently. Wait, Jasmine said calmly. David, email all documentation to this address. Now. She gave him an email. David's eyes widened, recognizing the corporate domain. That's C-suite. How do you? Just send it, Jasmine instructed. Sarah reached their door, pounded on glass. David. Open immediately. Almost done, David muttered, uploading gigabytes. David Chen, open now or you're terminated. And, sent, David announced. Security was at the door with the key. Jasmine pulled out her phone. Time Patricia learned who she really told to wait outside. The door swung open. Sarah stood with 5 guards. All terminated immediately. Call police, we have the trespasser. I don't think that's necessary, Jasmine said pleasantly. Sarah, check your email. Sarah sneered. Corporate doesn't know you exist. Her phone chimed. Then David's. Then every computer lit up. Sarah glanced dismissively, then froze. Color drained from her face. No, she whispered. You're, oh my God. You're Jasmine Carter. You're the CEO. The guards exchanged confused glances. Angela gasped. Linda grabbed the desk. Surprise, Jasmine said mildly. Now, shall we discuss what I discovered while waiting outside my own building? 20 minutes before Jasmine's identity was revealed, Patricia Whitmore strode into the executive conference room like a general preparing for war. Emergency management meeting, now, she had declared. They filed in quickly, Sarah Mitchell, Tom Bradley, James Rodriguez, and other department heads. I trust you all saw this morning's incident, Patricia began. That woman represents everything we've worked to keep out of this organization. Tom chuckled. The look on her face when you told her to wait outside? Priceless. She's more persistent than most, Patricia admitted. Which is why we need to discuss strengthening our screening procedures. Sarah, diversity numbers. Sarah pulled up a presentation. We're exceeding federal guidelines. 18% minority, well above required. Concentrated where? Patricia asked, smiling. Facilities, security, food service, janitorial. This allows us to meet quotas while maintaining cultural cohesion in client-facing roles. Exactly, Patricia approved. We give them jobs, just not jobs where they can embarrass us. James shifted uncomfortably. As the only non-white face in management, Patricia noticed. James, you look troubled. I wonder if we're not being obvious. What if she has connections? With what? Tom scoffed. A story about being asked to wait. Besides, Patricia added, people like her don't have media connections. They complain on Twitter to other failures. Sarah nodded. I've drafted a memo framing everything as security concern. Patricia moved to the window. The real problem is entitlement. They see successful companies and think they deserve a piece just for existing. The right look, Tom added. Could you imagine her meeting our Japanese clients? Which brings me to our main agenda, Patricia continued. Sarah, develop a more robust cultural fit assessment. Multi-stage evaluation, Sarah typed. First impressions, communication style, appearance standards. All legal, of course, Patricia smiled. Nothing discriminatory. What about internal promotions? A manager asked. Tom laughed. Let them apply. Hope keeps them motivated. Just ensure they never quite meet the bar. Angela Davis is getting persistent, Sarah noted. The janitor with delusions, Patricia sneered. Keep rejecting. Eventually she'll quit. James spoke carefully. Don't you think we're creating legal liability? This is why you'll never move beyond facilities, Patricia said condescendingly. Everything we do is legal. We don't reject because they're black. We reject because they lack executive presence. It's brilliant, Tom added. Subjective criteria no court can prove discriminatory. Sarah pulled up another slide. We do hire minorities, in positions where they'll naturally fail or stagnate. Like Marcus in security, Patricia noted. 15 years, applies regularly. We keep him as proof we value diversity. The perfect token, Tom agreed. Comfortable laughter filled the room. Now, about this morning's visitor, Patricia continued. Sarah, file complaint with building security. Ban her permanently. Already on it, Sarah confirmed. Tom, spread word in your networks. Make sure everyone knows we had an aggressive individual. Consider it done, Tom said. Patricia smiled. This is why we succeed. We protect what we've built. We ensure Nexus remains where excellence thrives. And excellence has a specific look, Sarah giggled. She pulled up final slide, leadership team photo. Rows of similar faces in appearance and background. James stared at the photo, seeing himself tucked in corner, lone spot of color. He'd sold his soul for that spot. Any questions? Patricia asked. What if that woman really does have connections? Tom asked. Patricia laughed. If she had power, she wouldn't be standing outside. People with influence don't get turned away. Anyone important would go straight to corporate, Sarah agreed. Exactly, Patricia said. Which is how I know she's nobody. The irony hung invisible. They couldn't conceive power might look different than expected. All right, back to work. Remember, if asked, we maintained professional standards. As managers filed out, Patricia remained at window, looking at plaza where Jasmine stood. Persistent little thing, she murmured. Too bad persistence isn't enough. She turned away, dismissing the morning's events. If she'd looked carefully, she might have noticed employees finding excuses to pass the plaza, might have seen growing unrest. But Patricia never learned to look carefully at people she deemed beneath notice. It would prove the most expensive oversight of her career. The executive elevator chimed as Robert Sterling stepped onto the 42nd floor. The CFO cut an imposing figure, tall, silver-haired, with commanding presence. He wasn't supposed to be here. Officially in New York, he'd taken a red-eye to Chicago when Jasmine initiated her operation. Mr. Sterling. The receptionist nearly dropped her coffee. We weren't expecting corporate today. Conducting routine financial review, Robert said smoothly. Best if management doesn't know, keeps numbers honest. He made his way through the executive floor. The decor screamed privilege, hunting prints, yacht club photos. He texted Jasmine, in position. Executive floor looks like museum to privilege. Her response, David Chen in IT invaluable. Connect with him. He found David looking like he'd aged years in an hour. The man paled when Robert introduced himself. Mr. Sterling. The CFO. But Patricia said corporate wasn't. Patricia doesn't know everything, Robert said quietly. I understand you have documents. Sir, I sent everything to an email. When she said she could change things. That she was CEO. Walk me through discoveries. David provided a masterclass in corporate malfeasance. Data was damning, systematic discrimination disguised as cultural fit. This is documented, David explained. Real numbers probably worse. Not careful enough, Robert murmured, studying salary disparities. Linda appeared. Mr. Sterling. Security's asking questions. Let them look, Robert said. Linda, you've been here 4 years. Yes, sir. Temporary receptionist that became permanent. And you have a business degree? Linda's eyes filled with tears. Summa cum laude. I thought it would mean something. It does. Just not to right people. Tell me about hiring practices. Linda's story was familiar, resumes discarded, interviews forgotten. I kept copies of resumes Patricia threw away. Dozens. All qualified. You kept evidence. That took courage. It took anger, Linda corrected. Angela joined them. Executives are panicking. Sarah Mitchell is shredding documents. Shredding? Robert's eyes sharpened. David, already backing up her system remotely, David interrupted. Good man. Robert turned to Angela. I understand you have recordings. Angela produced her flash drive. 3 years' worth. All legal. As Robert reviewed, his expression darkened. The casual cruelty was breathtaking. Marcus joined them. Is Ms. Carter really the CEO? Yes. Robert studied him. 15 years here. Why stay? My daughter, sir. At Northwestern. I stayed for health insurance. So she wouldn't face what I faced. What did you face? Doors closing. Being almost right for every job. I stayed so my daughter could walk through doors I could only guard. Robert felt the weight. How many Marcus Thompsons were there? His phone buzzed. Jasmine, Patricia sent security to find you. Showtime, Robert murmured. All of you showed tremendous courage. Change is coming. We've heard that before, Angela said. What makes this different? Your CEO has been standing outside for 3 hours, experiencing what you've endured. Jasmine doesn't just fix problems, she destroys systems creating them. Sarah Mitchell burst in. Robert Sterling. What are you doing here? Tell me, Sarah, do you know the penalty for destroying evidence? Sarah went white. I don't know what you mean. The shredder suggests otherwise. Cooperate or add obstruction to your problems. This is ridiculous. Patricia runs successful. Actually, the CEO can do whatever she wants. Remember the CEO? Jasmine Carter. The woman Patricia had removed by police. Color drained from Sarah's face. That's not, she couldn't. Oh, but she is. And she's documented everything. Sarah's tablet slipped from numb fingers. I need to call Patricia, Sarah said weakly. By all means. Tell her corporate's here. Tell her the CEO she humiliated is about to walk back in. Sarah fled. Robert turned back. Revolution is beginning. I suggest returning to posts. You'll want to witness what happens next. Angela lingered. What happens to us? You're about to find out what happens when someone with power uses it for good. David, Robert called. Put lobby feed on main screen. We're about to witness corporate history. The main conference room had been commandeered for an all-hands meeting. Patricia stood at the podium, designer suit impeccable, expression furious. I've called you here to address this morning's security breach, Patricia began. We had an individual attempt to infiltrate executive offices through deception. The room was packed. In back, Angela, Marcus, and Linda stood together. This person represents exactly why we maintain strict standards. She attempted to bypass proper channels, made fraudulent claims, and refused to leave. Tom Bradley nodded vigorously. Reminder: we must remain vigilant. Exactly, Patricia agreed. Which is why, the doors opened slowly. Conversations died as Jasmine walked in, still wearing the modest outfit. I apologize for interrupting, Jasmine said. But I believe you were talking about me. Patricia's face flushed. Security. How did she get back in? Marcus stepped forward. I let her in. Seemed the right thing. You're fired, Patricia snapped. I don't think you have that authority anymore, Jasmine interrupted. She walked toward front, employees parting. The situation is you're trespassing, Patricia said icily. I'm pressing charges. Trespassing? In my own building? Tom laughed harshly. Your building? You need help. Tom Bradley, Jasmine said conversationally. Sales director. Hired despite harassment complaints. Tell me, does your point system still dock points for urban accents? Tom's laughter died. How did you, Sarah Mitchell, Jasmine continued. 7 years. Rejected 94% of minority applicants while maintaining just enough diversity to avoid scrutiny. This is insane, Patricia declared. You can't make wild accusations. Wild accusations. Jasmine reached the front, connecting her phone to the presentation system. Let's review. The screen lit up with emails. Patricia went white. We need to maintain visual standards, Jasmine read. That's you, Patricia, explaining why Angela Davis, MBA from Northwestern, law degree from DePaul, wasn't suitable. Gasps rippled through room. Angela stood straighter. How did you get those? Sarah demanded. Nothing in corporate system is private. Especially not evidence of discrimination. She swiped, salary comparisons by race. Can you explain why black employees make 23% less? Market forces, Patricia said weakly. Lies. Another swipe showed rejection statistics. Why are qualified black candidates rejected at 3 times the rate? Different skill sets, Tom tried. More lies. Should we listen to recordings of you explaining, those people make clients uncomfortable? Room went silent. Patricia gripped podium. Who are you? Patricia whispered. Jasmine smiled. I'm someone who built this company from nothing. Someone who believes talent comes in all colors. Someone who's watched you pervert everything Nexus stands for. She turned to address room. My name is Jasmine Carter. I'm the CEO of Nexus Industries. Revelation hit like physical force. People gasped, stared in shock. No, Patricia said desperately. The CEO wouldn't dress like that. Wouldn't experience what my employees experience. Patricia, I only regret not doing this sooner. Robert Sterling entered with legal team. Ms. Whitmore, Ms. Mitchell, Mr. Bradley, you'll need to come with us. This is a setup. Patricia shrieked. I've made this branch profitable. By underpaying qualified employees, Jasmine countered. Your profits were built on discrimination. James Rodriguez suddenly spoke. I have documentation too. Things Patricia made me do. Patricia turned viciously. You ungrateful, I was your token, James said quietly. I'm done being your shield. Jasmine pulled up recording. Patricia's voice filled room. People like her don't have media connections. They complain to other failures. Patricia's face went gray. The empire built on exclusion crumbled. The irony, Jasmine continued, is you were so blinded by prejudice, you couldn't recognize your own company's CEO. Please, Sarah burst out. We were following industry standards. Everyone discriminates. No, Sarah. Just people like you. Robert stepped forward. Per corporate policy and federal law, all three suspended immediately. You can't. Patricia tried desperately. I have contracts. Board's been briefed. Vote was unanimous. You're done. As security moved in, Patricia made wild attempt. You'll fail without me. These people can't run a corporation. People like you. Jasmine's voice could freeze fire. Let me tell you what people like you cost this company. But Patricia was already being led away. The room erupted in applause. Jasmine raised hand for quiet. This isn't celebration. This is reckoning. What happened here is cancer throughout corporate America. Today we cut it out. Tomorrow we begin healing. The atmosphere shifted from shock to anticipation. Jasmine stood where Patricia had reigned, radiating quiet authority. Before discussing the future, we need to understand the past. Robert? Robert stepped forward. Discriminatory salary practices cost qualified employees $4.7 million in wages. Money stolen from families. Murmurs rippled. The number was staggering. Furthermore, talent lost to competitors. $50 million in innovation. Patricia didn't save money, she cost us a fortune. Jasmine took control. Every employee underpaid will receive full back pay with interest. Every qualified candidate wrongfully rejected will be contacted. Every person denied opportunities will have doors opened. Immediately. Angela raised her hand. Ms. Carter, how do we know this isn't just damage control? Excellent question. So let me show rather than tell. Angela, you have MBA and law degree. You've cleaned our offices 3 years. As of this moment, you're appointed regional manager for Chicago branch. The room erupted. Angela's knees buckled. What? But I don't have management experience. Neither did Patricia. But unlike Patricia, you understand being overlooked. You'll never do that to another employee. Linda Washington. For years watching incompetent people promoted past you. Your new title is Director of Human Resources. Linda's hand flew to mouth. Marcus Thompson. 15 years faithful service. You're now head of security operations for entire Midwest region. Marcus stood straight, tears streaming. David Chen. You showed courage when it mattered. Promoted to Chief Technology Officer. David nodded, overwhelmed. James Rodriguez. You participated but found courage to speak truth. You'll keep your position but report to Angela. Consider it redemption. James nodded gratefully. Now, some of you benefited from old system. I could fire you all, but won't. Everyone deserves chance to do better. But understand, old ways die today. Permanently. A manager raised hand nervously. What about those who just went along? Silence facing injustice is complicity. But confession and commitment to change is beginning of redemption. We'll implement real diversity training. Everyone participates. Everyone held accountable. What about clients? Another called. They'll adjust expectations. Any client with problem about their manager's skin color isn't client we need. Questions came faster. Will there be lawsuits? Probably. We'll face them honestly. Patricia's uncle on board. Already resigned. Board being restructured. How prevent this again? Transparency. Anonymous ethics hotline to me. No more cover-ups. Angela raised hand again. I appreciate your faith, but I'm terrified. What if I fail? Jasmine's expression softened. You've been preparing 3 years. Every night cleaning, you learned the business. Every rejection made you stronger. You're uniquely prepared to lead with empathy. That goes for all in new roles. You'll have support. Transition teams, mentors. But I need you brave. Can you do that? Yes, thunderous response. Then immediate changes. All salary decisions transparent and formula-based. Performance reviews by diverse panels. Promotions based on clear, public criteria. She showed new organizational chart. This is Nexus Chicago going forward. Chart showed diversity at every level, talent elevated regardless of background. It's beautiful, someone whispered. It's what we always should have been. Now, if you can work with people regardless of race, judge talent not skin tone, be part of solution not problem, you have future here. But if you can't, if you're harboring same prejudices, start updating resume. We'll give time to adjust, but will not tolerate discrimination. Not anymore. An older white woman stood. I'm ashamed I was part of problem. Went to Patricia's wine clubs, looked away. I want to do better. Acknowledging problem is first step. Next is active change. Mentor someone who doesn't look like you. Advocate for overlooked. Call out discrimination. Use privilege opening doors not closing them. Room processed decades of change in minutes. But overwhelming emotion was hope. One more announcement. We're establishing Nexus Justice Fund, $10 million supporting employees wrongfully held back. Education, career development, family support. Angela was weeping. My student loans, paying them $50 at time while mopping floors. Bring paperwork. We'll handle them. You've paid enough. As meeting wound down, Jasmine delivered closing. What happened here wasn't unique. But change starts somewhere. Today, starts here. Patricia told me wait outside because she couldn't see past prejudice. But doing so, revealed who she was. And standing up, all of you revealed who you are. Heroes. So reckoning is over. Rebuilding begins now. Ready? Applause erupted, commitment to change, promise to do better. A young black woman hung back, tears streaming. What's your name? Jasmine asked. Destiny Williams. Patricia's assistant. She made me schedule interviews she never intended. Throwaway resumes. I hated myself. You were surviving. Now you thrive. Report to Angela tomorrow as her executive assistant. Time you worked for someone who sees your worth. As Destiny left, hope replacing despair, Jasmine stood alone where Patricia held court hours before. Revolution complete. But real work, building something better, just beginning. Next morning dawned crisp over Chicago. Angela Davis stood in what had been Patricia's office, hardly believing the nameplate bore her name. Surreal, isn't it? Jasmine appeared with coffee. Yesterday cleaning this office. Today running it. Angela accepted gratefully, hands trembling. I keep waiting to wake up. Don't even know where to start. Start by making it yours. Patricia decorated to intimidate. What do you want? Angela considered. I want it to welcome. Show people belong. She gestured at hunting prints. These go. Art from local artists, especially underrepresented communities. Plants, living things not dead trophies. Already thinking like leader. First senior staff meeting in hour. Nervous? Terrified. Half those people saw me emptying trash last week. Exactly why you'll succeed. You know every level because you lived it. That's your superpower. Linda entered, professional but uncertain in new HR role. Angela got resumes, all candidates Patricia rejected. There are, lot. How many? 347. All qualified. Reach out to all of them. Already did top 50. 17 interested. Only 17. Angela frowned. Others moved on. Patricia didn't just cost employees, drove talent away. Document every one, Jasmine said. And those 17, fast-track applications. Linda pulled out tablet. Also identified 43 employees systematically underpaid. Total adjustment $2.8 million annually. Finance having heart palpitations. Finance will adjust, Jasmine said. Exit interviews with former employees. Stories difficult. Marketing genius told, too aggressive. Puerto Rican man passed over 5 times. Bring them back, Angela said suddenly. If willing, at levels they should have reached. That's big swing, Linda cautioned. Every day they weren't here, we operated below potential. Make offers generous. Marcus appeared, adjusting to new suit. Security team assembled. Also, Patricia Whitmore in lobby demanding entry. I'll handle this, Angela said. She terrorized me 3 years. Time to return courtesy. In lobby, Patricia looked like ghost, disheveled, wrinkled. Seeing Angela in business suit, her face cycled through shock, rage, shame. Need my things, Patricia said hoarsely. Personal items sent home. Those appear to be company documents. They're mine. Developed on company time. Security will examine. Patricia flushed. You can't do this. I made you. Branch was profitable before you. You increased profits exploiting workers. Not success, house of cards. Yesterday it collapsed. I'll sue. Please do. Discovery will be fascinating sharing your emails. Fear flickered. I have connections. Like you made difficult for me. When I applied, you laughed. Said I was reaching above station. Made me clean while degrees gathered dust. She stepped closer. But here's what you don't understand. Your connections. Running from association. Your reputation. Destroyed. Now I have company to run. Goodbye, Patricia. As Patricia escorted out, Angela felt years lifting. Employees applauded. Back upstairs, senior staff meeting beginning. Room packed, some skeptical, others curious. Angela entered with support team. Good morning. Know this unusual. Last week cleaning. This week running. Some wonder if qualified. Fair. She wrote on whiteboard. MBA Northwestern. Law degree DePaul. 3 years observing every level. Most importantly, know what it's like having potential wasted. Won't waste yours. Old regime over. Not firing everyone, vindictive. But changing everything. Promotions transparent. Salaries fair. Opportunities available to everyone. Manager raised hand. Patricia's methods delivered results, built on exploitation. Underpaying isn't good business, theft. Proving profitable and equitable. Diversity not burden but asset. How? Another challenged. Angela showed demographics. Chicago diverse. Our customers. Overwhelmingly white, wealthy. Serving 30% potential market. Changes now. Restructuring suppliers, Linda added. Opening to minority businesses. Save 15% supporting community. Existing clients with expectations. They'll adapt or find another firm. Rather lose revenue than souls. Room fell silent. Test time. David Chen spoke. Watched brilliant people dismissed. Implemented systems knowing wrong. Changes today. I'm all in. Others nodded support. Not all, some faces shut down. But enough. One more thing, Jasmine announced. Documenting everything. Publishing report, not shaming but lighting path for other companies. Meeting continued, Angela feeling responsibility settling. Different from janitor wait, this was opportunity. Later, stood watching sunset over Chicago. City looked different from height. Phone rang, mother. Baby, still can't believe. My daughter, running Fortune 500 branch. I know, mama. Maybe had to happen this way. See system from bottom to fix from top. Father would be so proud. Always said you'd change world. Just changing one company. That's how starts, baby. One company at time. Hanging up, Angela thought about other parents getting similar calls. Patricia told her, reaching above station. Patricia wrong. Angela reaching for exactly what deserved. Tomorrow would bring challenges. But tonight, Angela stood in office she cleaned and felt hope. Change had come to Nexus Industries. Just beginning. Chicago skyline gleamed as Jasmine returned to Nexus building. This time, walked through front door in designer clothing, but remembered cold morning outside. Transformation evident immediately. Lobby featured local art, comfortable seating, diverse reception staff. Marcus Thompson, regional head of security, greeted proudly. Welcome back, Ms. Carter. Very different place than you left. That's what I'm here to see. Numbers told remarkable story. 6 months, Chicago went from middle to top performing. Revenue up 34%, satisfaction increased 45%, retention hit 94%. But statistics couldn't capture human transformation. Break rooms where all backgrounds ate together. Meeting rooms with diverse voices. Promotions reflecting merit not connections. Angela met her on executive floor, transformed from tearful janitor to confident leader. Prepared presentation, but first, people want to thank you. Conference room packed with familiar faces from cold morning, plus new, talented individuals rejected, now back thriving. 6 months ago, made promises. Today, proof kept. Angela clicked through slides. 43 employees received $1.4 million back pay. 17 previously rejected candidates hired. Supplier diversity increased 300%. Employees shared stories. Linda Washington, now VP HR, enrolled in Executive MBA. Next month, presenting inclusive hiring model at national conference. David Chen, IT went from 90% one demographic to reflecting world we serve. More innovative than ever. Marketing analyst who developed campaign for underserved communities bringing $10 million new business. Sales rep leveraging bilingual skills opening markets. Angela introduced Maria Santos. Patricia rejected her. Feedback. Lacks executive presence. Maria helped competitor launch product taking 15% market share. Back now as innovation head. Maria stood. Patricia right, didn't have executive presence. Had better ideas, work ethic, perspective of communities ignored. Those communities have money when you serve them. New inclusive products generated $47 million in 6 months. Diverse suppliers reduced costs 18%. Productivity up 28%, people work harder believing they can advance. Jasmine listened with satisfaction. Sounds perfect. Too perfect. Challenges? Angela's smile faded. Lost some people. Clients and employees couldn't adjust. Sabotage, deleted files, whispered campaigns. And Patricia Whitmore busy. Positioning as victim, reverse discrimination. Conservative media picked up story. Room tensed, but Jasmine smiled. Show receipts. Linda presented. Documented everything. New hires, 78% white. Not reverse discrimination. Actual meritocracy. Lawsuit? Dismissed. Patricia's emails her downfall. Where is she now? Consultant. Giving talks about maintaining traditional culture. Found niche with companies stuck in 1955. Let her. Wrong side of history. Angela presented expansion plans, partnerships with black colleges, mentorship programs. Chicago branch becoming model. Other companies asking how we did it. What tell them? Truth. Starts with leadership seeing uncomfortable realities. Can't build excellence on exclusion. Sometimes tear down what is to build what should be. Meeting ended, Jasmine in lobby looking at plaza where she'd stood. Regrets? Angela asked. None. Morning painful but necessary. Needed to see, feel what employees faced. Patricia never understood. Thought power meant never seeing other perspectives. Why she's giving bitter talks while we transform industry. Real power lifts others up. Young woman approached. Ms. Carter. Destiny Williams, Angela's assistant. 6 months ago, Patricia's assistant, hating myself. Now working MBA, proud where I work. Thank yourself. Had courage to stay, hope. We gave opportunity you deserved. Angela asked, what's next? Every branch. Chicago wasn't isolated, systemic problem needs systemic solutions. And resistors? Find themselves outside looking in. Ironic, they told others wait outside. Their turn. Think Patricia learned anything? Jasmine considered. Patricia probably preparing another presentation about forced diversity, convinced she was wronged. No. People like her rarely do. So invested in worldview, rather lose everything than admit wrong. But never about changing Patricia. Then what? Changing system. Proving companies do well by doing good. Showing every Angela their time comes, every Patricia time ending. About justice. Justice doesn't require oppressor's understanding, just removal from power. Phone buzzed, Phoenix branch showing similar patterns. Jasmine smiled, typed, book flight. Find modest outfit. Time for another CEO to wait outside. Revolution begun Chicago, wouldn't end there. Change coming across corporate America. Somewhere, Patricia telling shrinking audience about good old days. Didn't realize audience shrinking because world moving on. Woman told wait outside changed everything while Patricia remained frozen, cautionary tale. Ending heartbreaking and hopeful. Heartbreaking for those like Patricia who couldn't change. Hopeful for all told wait outside now invited in as valued contributors. Justice served. Just beginning. Dear friend, in boardrooms and break rooms across the world, talented individuals are still being told to wait outside, not always in those words, but in countless subtle and not so subtle ways. They're passed over for promotions, paid less for equal work, and excluded from opportunities not because they lack ability, but because they don't fit someone's narrow definition of what success should look like. This story isn't just fiction, it's a reality for millions. But here's the truth. Real strength comes from diversity. Real innovation comes from different perspectives. Real success comes from recognizing talent wherever it exists, not just where we expect to find it. When we tell someone to wait outside based on their appearance rather than their abilities, we don't just hurt them, we hurt ourselves, our companies, and our communities. Change starts with each of us. Speaking up when we see discrimination. Amplifying voices that are being silenced. Opening doors instead of closing them. Because every time we tell someone they don't belong based on who they are rather than what they can do, we all lose. The future belongs to those who see potential in everyone, who build bridges instead of barriers, who understand that true power isn't about keeping others down, it's about lifting them up. Don't wait for someone else to change the world. Start where you are. Challenge bias. Champion diversity. Be the leader who sees beyond stereotypes to recognize real talent. Because somewhere, right now, the next CEO, innovator, or world changer is being told to wait outside. What will you do about it? If this story moved you, if it made you think, if it made you angry at injustice or hopeful for change, share it. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Help us spread stories that matter, that challenge, that inspire. Together, we can build a world where no one has to wait outside.